Hello, I'm going to present some slides regarding Italian food and, in particular, oltrepò and generally Mantuan food. First of all, some questions. What are Italians famous for? What Italian foods are known worldwide? Is Italian cuisine different from region to region? What are typical staple foods in Italy? What about you and your family? Staple foods vi ricordo che sono I cibi di riferimento, such as pasta or rice every day. Do you eat pasta and pizza? What are your favorite preparations? Think of a typical food you would offer, typical foods you would offer to a visitor. In this map and in these two pictures, some stereotypes regarding Italian food are shown. Italians are known all over the world for pizza, pasta, and tomato sauce. However, the national diet of Italy has always been different from region to region. Traditionally, for example, it was possible to distinguish Italian cooking simply by the type of cooking fat used. Butter was used in the north, pork fat in the center, and olive oil in the south. Staple dishes in the north were rice and polenta, and pasta was most popular throughout the south. Pasta is more likely to be served with a white cheese sauce in the north and a tomato-based sauce in the south. Italians are known for their use of herbs in cooking, especially oregano, basil, thyme, parsley, rosemary, and sage. Cheese also plays an important role in Italian cuisine. There are more than 400 types of cheese made in Italy, with Parmesan, mozzarella, and Asiago among the best known worldwide. Typical local products are rice, squash, melons, onions, truffles, Mantuan IGP pear, indication of protected geography pear, asparagus. The area's most important animal is a pig, from which local producers use traditional recipes to create famous salamis and sausages. World-famous Parmigiano Reggiano is the most important cheese, but also Grana Padano is famous. Squash. Squash is the main ingredient for the filling of tortelli, a major local first course. Capel del Prete is a pumpkin on the National Register of Conservation Varieties. Some companies from Quistello and Villa Poma have become seed keepers. This means that they grow a limited amount of seeds over a small area, isolated from other varieties, respecting crop rotation and adopted techniques aimed at maintaining the purity of the species. Rice. The first evidence of rice growing dates back to the early 1500s. In particular, Vialone Nano has been grown in the Oltrepò Mantovano since the first half of 1900. It is a hybrid variety and a cross between Vialone and Nano, which contain an essential protein that determines greater consistency and less stickiness during cooking. Next, asparagus. It was already grown in the Oltrepò Mantovano by monks from Polirone Monastery. A large rectangular spargiaia was reported in a 16th century map of the abbey in San Benedetto Po. Asparagus is low in sodium, has high calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, and potassium content, and has around 25 calories per 100 grams. Next, the melon. It was already appreciated at court in the 15th century as of a letter dated 30th July 1480 by farmer Antonius Alberici to Federico Gonzaga. Melon of Sermide is classified under protected geographical indication. The condition of the local clay soil and climate have always been ideal for the cultivation of this fruit. And the black pig. The origins of this breed of pig can be traced back to Roman times. In San Giovanni del Dosso, the breed is being revived with a particular focus on processing the meat to produce high-quality cold cuts. Okay, let's start with the typical Mantuan menu. As a starter, we might have cicciole. Cicciole is pork cooked with special spices. Graspista and polenta is also a typical starter. It is a lard spread for polenta, also used in tigelle. Polenta can also be fried and served with salami and pancetta ham. Schiacciatina is a typical product of Mantua, and it's a kind of hard, flat bread. And tirot. Tirot is an Italian bread that was eaten at the end of the harvest, made from yellow onion from Felonica, a village in the southeast of the province. Let's continue with first courses. Agnolini in brodo, first of all. That is fresh, ring-shaped stuffed pasta in broth. Tortelli is a type of fresh homemade pasta. They are filled with pumpkin. The main characteristic of this dish is the sweet taste of the pumpkin and the savory taste of Grana Padano cheese, the sweet taste of the amaretto cookies, and the spicy taste of mostarda. The traditional recipe calls for tortelli to be dressed with melted butter and sage leaves, which allow the taste of the sweet filling to be enjoyed. They may be garnished with some Parmesan crouton. Torta escapà is a traditional recipe for those who don't have the time to make tortelli. The filling usually used for tortelli is eaten here with macaroni. Diced pumpkin is tossed in the pan with some shallot, bay, white wine, salt, pepper, and nutmeg. You should also add some crumbled amaretto biscuits before serving. Let's finish with two risotto styles. Risotto alla pilota is named after the laborers who husked rice called piloti. The peculiarity of this dish is the way it is cooked, based on the right proportion between water and rice, on the right cooking time, on the use of the lid, and on a precise resting time. The final result is a risotto that is not creamy, but dry and grainy. The most known variation of the riso alla pilota is risotto col puntel, that is, risotto served with pork chops or ribs, sautéed with butter or grilled and placed in dishes, leaving the bone, the handle up, called puntel in Mantua. Main courses, here we go, in Italian we call them second courses. Boiled beef and pork with giardiniera is typical. Giardiniera is pickled garden vegetables preserved in fresh olive oil. Mantuan spicy mostarda is an historical delight from the Gonzaga court and perfect even in modern times with Parmigiano Reggiano or Grana Padano. Once upon a time it was prepared by chemists and reserved for the dining tables of the lords. It is prepared with a single type of fruit, pear, apple, or quince, cut into pieces or thinly sliced. The piquin sauce is a recipe that dates back to the 16th century. It is believed that the Gonzaga brought this dish in Mantova using the pike caught in Lake Garda. In this recipe, the pike is cooked in boiling water along with herbs and vegetables such as celery, carrots, onion, and vinegar. Boiled pike is seasoned with green sauce, made in a pan with olive oil and chopped capers, parsley, anchovies, and onion. The sauce is poured over the fish and served. The dish is often accompanied with polenta. Cotechino is pork meat and rind of medium grain gets salted and packed into natural bowls. Cotechini are left drying for 1 or 2 days. According to a very ancient tradition, the salami with tongue, salam la lingua, is usually eaten on the 4th Sunday of May for the Ascension Day. It is made with the pig's tongue, which is longitudinally cut and inserted with a special tool into the already packed salami. Salt, pepper, and spices are added, such as cloves, cinnamon, juniper, nutmeg, and bay. Mantuan cuisine can offer a wide variety of desserts. The typical sbrisolona crumb cake has humble origins and a unique texture which is crisp and fragrant. The main ingredients are corn flour, sugar, almonds, and lard. The almonds are chopped coarsely and added to the rest of the ingredients to create an irregular dough that has to be placed on the pan and baked in the oven. Getting a slice of sbrisolona is almost impossible because it immediately crumbles. That's the reason why it is called sbrisolona. So you should take the pieces with your hands. Next, the tagliatelle pasta cake. The curious tagliatelle cake or torta tagliatellina comes from the Emilia Lower Plain. Among its ingredients, white flour, eggs, almonds, sugar, anisette. It consists of a soft sheet of pasta dough from which thin noodles are obtained. Anello di Monaco. It has the typical shape of a donut and has a pleasant flavor of butter, almonds, and hazelnuts. Bussolano or Bussolano is a soft pie made with wheat flour, yeast, eggs, butter, sugar, vanilla, and other aromas. It has a crumbly golden crust and a buttery taste and fragrance. Helvetia is a cake made up of discs of almond meringue spread with zabaione. And last but not least, Turtels Guazarot is a traditional Mantuan recipe shared by 5 towns in the province of Mantua: Borgofranco sul Po, Carbonara, Felonica, Magnacavallo, and Sermide. This filled pasta, originally savory but now practically used as a dessert, has an ancient history and a few years ago also risked extinction. In 2008, a group of cooking experts founded the Confraternita Turtels Guazarot Association, whose objective is to safeguard and retrieve a dish that risks being lost forever. Legend says that in the mid-1600s this dish was prepared for the Gonzaga family by Chef Bartolomeo Stefano for a noble guest. The tortello has undergone various transformations from savory to sweet. It has been slowly fried or boiled, filled with beans, chestnuts, and mostarda, and covered with a topping called pavarada, prepared with tangerine or orange juice, cooked wine and plum preserves. Its recipe is based on vino cotto, wine must that is reduced through slow cooking, and tortelli filled with beans and dried chestnuts. The Gonzagas added spices and citrus. We also have different museums connected to food, such as the Truffle Museum in Borgofranco sul Po, the Museum Workshop of Agricultural Machinery in Quingentole, and the Onion Museum in Sermide. Different food events also are typical for our area, such as the Tartu Festa in Carbonara, the Millennium Fair in Gonzaga, the Lambrusco Fest in Poggiolusco. Buono studio!